The Adelaide Equestrian Festival, formerly the Adelaide International 3-day event, was held recently at Victoria Park Racecourse on the edge of the Adelaide CBD. Shane Rose and his part-thoroughbred Virgil won their way onto the Australian team for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games with a win in the 5-star, while Shenae Lowings and Sam Woods were amongst many competitors on good old Aussie Thoroughbreds. Carleen, this is just wonderful, having a look at the Adelaide Equestrian Festival as it's now known. Of course, it is a 3-day event, but there's so much more going on for people from Adelaide, but also from interstate and around the world.
It is. It's so wonderful to be back in the parklands again. The Adelaide Equestrian Festival brings together a whole range of different activities. There's something here for absolutely everyone. But of course the hero of the event is the 5-star, the Australian International 5-star event. It's only one of only 7 around the world, the only one in the Southern Hemisphere. It's an absolutely amazing event, and it's an Olympic qualifier. We've got Olympians riding here. It's just so exciting.
It is, and of course Paris 24, this is what a lot of these elite riders, and there are thoroughbreds involved, which we'll talk about in a little while, but it's such a big incentive to do well here this year.
Absolutely, there's selectors here, and so this number of the riders are on their pathway to Paris, and this is a qualifying event for that that aim to get to the Olympics. So it's a very exciting event for the riders.
Well, I just love seeing horses back at Victoria Park, full stop, and the lovely old grandstand, and we're on basically the straight is where the main arena is as well. But tell us about the event. The setup. It's now obviously we're holding it in April, which is really great, beautiful weather, and of course the jumps are magnificent right through the parklands.
They are. Yes. Well, our course builder, Mike Etherington-Smith, wonderful man. He comes over from the UK to build our course for us, and so it's a spectacular course. It's only 7 in the world at this level, and it's the only one in the Southern Hemisphere, as I said. It's absolutely incredible, and we have it here in Adelaide. It's the only one that's held in the heart of a city in the world, so it's a very, very special event.
It certainly is. And looking at the actual events and the thoroughbreds competing, I mean, we know Shane Rose, who's won here several times. He is really strong on his thoroughbreds. He has thoroughbred crosses here at the moment, but some young thoroughbreds coming through, but also at Sam Woods on cagey or cage fighter, Shenae Lowings on bold venture. It's really important. Are we seeing more thoroughbreds getting to this elite level?
Yes, we are, and thoroughbreds are ideal for this kind of competition. And for any sport horse, the thoroughbred's second life after racing can be assured. They are very, very talented animals. They can turn their hand to any discipline in the horse world, and it's a beautiful pathway for them to continue into a high level of elite competition and do so well.
We've heard people like Jade Finlay, who obviously rides Warm Bloods, but they're watching the thoroughbred coming through, or Tim Boland or Shane himself. And it seems as if with more thoroughbreds going into junior competitions and a lot of shows, just people just getting them out to show jump or do some dressage, maybe not even elite eventing, but they sort of filter their way through, don't they?
They do. And there's a lot of people now who are adopting off the track racehorses, thoroughbreds, and bringing them through the competition pathway in the sport and world of equestrian. There's many disciplines in which they can excel. There's dressage, there's show jumping, and then of course there's the magnificent eventing, which is the triathlon of the horse world of equestrian. It means they have to be good at dressage, they have to be good at show jumping, and they have to be able to be really strong at cross country. And cross country is just the most exciting event. It's not a race, but it is an amazing feat of endurance and a feat of skill, and the partnership between the horse and rider is just something to behold.
It's fabulous to see a rider of your calibre here at the Adelaide 3-day event. Of course, we know that this is an international qualifier for Paris and all those sorts of things, but it's a really great equestrian festival, as they're now calling it, for so many horses and so many great riders.
Yeah, we're really lucky to be able to run an event here in Adelaide. Right in the city, it takes so much work, so many people behind it to make it happen. So we're really, really lucky as riders to be able to have an event here with such big atmosphere and such a great environment to experience as a rider and for the horses, so we're really lucky.
Well, we saw Bold Venture. We were here when you were doing the dressage earlier today. Tell me a bit about him, because all thoroughbreds have different personalities and so on, but he's so literally bold, isn't he? And he covers the ground so beautifully, but that's taken a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. He's a pretty amazing horse, I must say. It hasn't been an easy road. Like he still is very quirky. I got him off the track about 6 years ago. Went quite slowly with him at the start, and once I kind of got through to him and he trusted me and I trusted him, we've just kind of taken the reins together, I guess, and he's just excelling. He's very special.
Well, he's by Devaraja, so he's Sir Tristram line, and I've heard a lot of people in New Zealand where there are a lot more Sir Tristrams, Abeel line horses in a lot of equestrian fields, that there is something about them that actually makes them good. And they can be tough, they can be athletic, I guess he's sort of all of the above.
Yeah, well, the thing about thoroughbreds is that physically they have so much ability, they're so athletic, they've got the stamina, they've got the blood, which for eventing, we can gallop for 11 minutes in a 5-star track, and to have that blood behind you is a really good feeling. And you can get a thoroughbred with a very good brain that wants to do it. They're all very willing. It's whether you can find it in them, which you do. It's a pretty amazing feeling when you have a thoroughbred that loves it and wants to do the job.
Yeah, and they go forward. I mean, they've been taught right from birth to get moving and go forward. So that's a really positive thing for something like eventing, isn't it?
Definitely. That's a huge plus. A good first step. So they're a great breed. They're my favourite breed. I've had my top horses have all been thoroughbreds, and this is the best one I've had yet. So it's exciting.
So the steps along the way to get a horse, a thoroughbred, to this sort of level. I mean, any horse needs a level of training, obviously, to get used to being in these boxes, strange places, tied up to trucks, all that sort of thing. Has it been any different, with the thoroughbreds you've experienced, or they all just kind of get it, the penny drops?
They're all really different. I guess it depends on how they coped with the racing environment. Some come away from it and they have a rest and they're good to go. Some take a little bit of convincing that we're not here to run fast, we're here to do a bit of a job first. But at the end of the day, they're also willing and they seem to adjust. Some just take a bit longer than others.
And the fences here, I mean, all the fences at 3-day events, when you're getting up to, these sort of elite levels, they're all pretty extraordinary. But how does the thoroughbred brain kind of compute that?
Well, I think the basics are really important with any horse. So giving them a good experience in training as you're going up the grades and showing them all the different types of skinnies and angles and brushes. You've got to put that time in and do the training, but they're bred to run and go. So once you're out the start box, they're always thinking forward, and it's a great feeling. So if you've shown them all the lines that are out there before, then usually, if you ride it well, then they'll eat it up.
And you've obviously, worked a lot through the years with Shenae Lowings as well, who's always been particularly keen on thoroughbreds. What makes you actually sort of start to work with thoroughbreds? Is it watching someone else doing it, or is it just you just like their brain and their physique?
Yeah, I love the thoroughbreds. I've always loved the thoroughbreds. It's a never-ending supply of thoroughbreds, really. So to go in there and work with so many horses, you kind of learn to read each different horse, which is really important. So that's probably a huge positive in working with the thoroughbreds.
KG took the lead, Mesmar the outside trying hard.
So tell us a little bit about Cage Fighter. Of course, races KG, but how did you come to have him?
So he came from Shane and Nikki, and they gifted him to me as I worked quite hard for them. And he's come a long way since I've got him. He started quite low in the eventing levels. And now we're here at Adelaide 5-star, which is pretty cool to bring a thoroughbred to the pinnacle of my sport.
Yeah, what makes him so special? What makes him get to a 5-star level?
Definitely his will to just keep trying. He's such a trier. If I make a little mistake, he's always there just to help me out, or vice versa. His attitude to just keep on going and going and going, and that's definitely what we'll need tomorrow, going around that 11-minute track. Watching
some of the thoroughbreds here today, I reckon some of them are going to start building a bit of a profile of their own, regardless of who's riding them maybe, because people do like to see horses where there's sort of some connection from the past.
Yeah, definitely. A horse with a background's great, especially just to do something like racing and then change and just be able to pick it up and off they go. It's really cool.
Yeah, but are there more? Do you see more thoroughbreds coming in?
Definitely, I think so, yeah. The younger generations are starting to get off the trackers and bring them through, and yeah, it's good to see them out and about. It's great to see them have a second life, and they can do so well at this sport, and any sport really.
It is an old racetrack, Victoria Park. I wish it still was, but it's the ideal sort of venue for them too, isn't it? It's so open.
Yeah, it's great. There's going to be some good galloping. The ground's amazing. All the thoroughbreds should eat up tomorrow.
And there are a few other thoroughbreds too. Do you sort of stay in touch with Shenae? I mean, obviously you're sort of travelling together, etc. But are you sort of all aware? Is he still sort of giving encouragement and sort of coaching or helping you?
Yeah, definitely. Shane's always there for me and Shenae. We're just recently renting a place off Shane as well to start our own business, breaking and pre-training just down the road from him. It's a great way to find the next one, that's for sure.
You know, people that are owning horses, what would you say to someone that, you know, I mean, they're not all going to be elite eventers, but to someone that's not sure what to do? They have a horse, they have a share in a horse. What would you suggest, you know, because the thrills when you see your horse compete in the equestrian world are just the same as watching them race.
I think it's really important that if you have a horse that finishes racing to look for a second life for it, because there are so many different types of disciplines. There's the dressage, there's show jumping, there's the 3-day eventing. Every horse will suit something outside of racing. So yeah, just keep on sending them to us.
And of course racing, we need to forge better links obviously between the equestrian world and the racing world. Racing SA are sponsoring this event, which is wonderful to see. But it's also about, I guess, people coming out to Victoria Park here year after year and seeing these thoroughbreds, you know, and all horses, but in particular promoting the fact thoroughbreds are here and that they are competing at this level, so that owners can maybe think, imagine if that was my ex-racehorse, and you can come and see it.
That's right, and imagine you could do it in your own backyard here in Australia. You can see your horse go from very junior levels of competition right through to the most elite level here in Adelaide. It's an absolutely amazing sport for beautiful, magnificent animals to have another life beyond their racing life.
CCI 4-star short, Shenae Lowings and Thoroughbreds.